Hey guys, this is Jaryd Krause, host of the Buying Online Businesses podcast. And in this episode, I get to speak to Mr. Matt Tran from Engineered Truth, who has hundreds of thousands of YouTube subscribers. But in this episode, we talk about a business that Matt bought, but he doesn't have to run, and how he owns that business, but doesn't need to run it, and why he bought a business instead of starting one from scratch. We also talk about how he grew his YouTube channel to hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and then how important it is and how valuable it is to have a good team of VAs to run your businesses so you can have more of a lifestyle. So if you're looking to buy a website business and structure it in a different way that you don't have to do the work yourself, be sure to listen to this episode. Hey guys, this is Jaryd again, and welcome to the Buying Online Businesses podcast. And today I'm speaking with Matt Tran from Engineered Truth, and he's a YouTube gun. You have to check him out on YouTube at Engineered Truth. He's got hundreds of thousands of subscribers. He's owned multiple websites, sold multiple websites, or did have multiple websites. And we got in touch from a mutual friend because one of the guys that was working with me doing sales put me onto you and said, oh, you should link up with Matt and have a chat. And I just want to say, first of all, Matt, congratulations with what you've built so far. It's really awesome. And welcome to the show.
Hey, Jaryd, welcome to having me. Today, I'm excited to talk about buying my first Amazon FBA business. We could even talk about how I got almost 400,000 subscribers on YouTube and how that works. But we're also going to talk about two businesses I tried to start last year, but completely failed and wasted my money.
Yeah, exactly. So let's let's talk about that business you just recently bought. Congratulations on that. And let me ask you, why did you decide to buy one now instead of building it from scratch? What was
last year I tried to create two websites. One was a job board. The second was a vacation video editing service where we'll edit people's vacation footage into a 1-minute video. So for those two websites, I probably spent about $5,000 each trying to start them and got practically zero sales. I think we got one sale each, right? But basically I lost a lot of money, a couple $1,000s each. So after that experience, I figured, wow, me trying to start my own idea was a waste of money. The money would have been better spent just buying a business that already has customers, that already has monthly cash flow. And yeah, it's going to be way more expensive than trying to start your own, but you're taking a lot less risk. And for me, I'm a stubborn guy. I don't think I would have believed it until I actually did it myself. So for those of you listening, if you're trying to be stubborn about it, I would encourage you to go start your own content website, your own tech review website, or your own Amazon FBA, so that you can see how difficult it is. Because you're not paying for the content. You're not paying for, to buy products from Alibaba to ship it to Amazon FBA. You're not paying for that. You're paying for the spot, right? I just bought, the business I bought was a vape case. We sell vape cases, carrying cases for vapes. The little, that feels smoke out of, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not paying because, this guy found a supplier and he's going to give me the supplier name. And then I have the contact and now I could order it. I'm paying for the spot because right now that vape case ranks always around the top 3 of vape carrying cases on Amazon. And that's what I'm paying for. I'm paying for that spot and the reviews and the current existing customers.
Yeah. So I've done an episode on this before, Matt, with somebody else, Charlie, and we talked about the actual real raw costs of starting a website business and getting it successful, like branding and all that sort of stuff. You put about $5,000 in. And the crazy thing is that people think it's really risky to buy a website business, and it has its level of risk, obviously, right? Yeah. But they forget, or they don't know, they're not conscious to the risks that are actually involved in starting a website, especially if you're going to put money into it. And they may even not be conscious of the risk of the time they put into it, because you can always earn more money, but you can't earn more time, right? So tell me, how have you found this purchase now? Are you really happy with it? Talk to me more about it. Why vape? You said a bit about why vape, but why FBA? And tell me more about it.
Yeah, I think FBA is not the recommended first business to buy. I think a content website is much better. It's much safer, and there's multiple ways for a content website to monetize, to earn money. They could do AdSense, they could do affiliate marketing, they could collect an email list and sell to the email list. So a content website has a lot more avenues to make money. And so because of that, content websites are a higher multiple, 2.7x, which means they pay for themselves in 2.7 years. Yes. Amazon FBA is much more risky. So they have a 2.2 multiple, meaning they pay for themselves in 2.2 years. But my friend here in the Philippines, I live in Metro Manila, he wanted to sell his vape case business, carry case for vapes, and he wanted to sell the business, and he listed on Empire Flippers for about 4 or 5 months, but didn't get any good offers. So they delisted the website from Empire Flippers, and he knew I was in the market to buy a content website, but he pitched to me, hey, I'll sell you 80% of this Amazon FBA business for $60,000. If you do the math, you know exactly how much the Amazon FBA business makes.
Yeah, you do
using
now.
a 2.2 multiple.
Yeah.
And a little math problem for you at home. And so he said, I'll keep 20% of it, but I'll manage the business for you. So I'm a completely passive investor because he already has the VA in place to order new product. And so I asked him, well, what's involved with running this Amazon FBA business? This carrying case.
What does the VA do?
He just orders more inventory. That is it. Because we're already ranked really high. The niche isn't big enough to invite competitors. That's also really important, is that this is a pretty small niche, right? We're making around $3,500 a month in profit. And that might sound like a lot to you at home who's not making anything, but to a major Amazon seller, like the big guns in the space, they see $3,500 profit and they're like, yeah, it's not even worth my time. Like I'm going to aim for something much bigger.
Hundreds of dollars a month.
Yeah. So for them, why would they even compete? And also the space is so small. Like you're just going to take a bit of my 3,500 and you may take it because like you're not going to be ranked on the first page. So you might end up wasting more of your money.
So yeah, there's people who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars from FBA Amazon businesses per month. So why would they compete with somebody who's just got, a real small market share when they're probably wanting a bigger market share? And so talk to me more about FBA, because I know a lot of people listening are interested in learning like about FBA businesses and what's actually involved in running it. Because like you said, like all the VA has to do is buy more products and get them sent to the Amazon warehouses where they ship it out, right? That's what fulfillment by Amazon actually is. So how do you get it listed higher on Amazon, and how do you make sure it gets put in front of the right people on Amazon? Is there, certain amount of money that goes into marketing? Like, how does that actually work?
So when it comes to creating an Amazon FBA business or owning one, the hardest part is the product launch. Now, the product launch involves a lot of things. There used to be allowed to give away products in exchange for reviews, but now that's been taken away. Now it's really reliant on making a perfect product listing. When it comes to making the perfect product listing, my recommendation is to not try to do it yourself, because you're probably, I'm going to guess, you listening at home, you're not a product photographer, but someone out there has studied product photography for years and have already done it. So it makes sense to hire a product photography company to do your product photography for you. And there's multiple companies that do specifically Amazon product photography. One of them is my friend's company, Virtuous Graphics. Actually, my roommate here is the VP of operations for Virtuous Graphics. And so all they do is do product listing optimization, or create product listings for Amazon sellers. And they'll even do the copywriting. So when it comes to product listing, there's the images, there's the copywriting, and then there's the section where you could if you're a registered trademark, I believe, you can actually create like a storefront, right? So there's a lot of things that you can do, and that's the most important part when it comes to optimizing, getting more sales, and launching a product, is having that nice product listing. Because right now with Amazon, they changed the algorithm a little bit, where if you just come out with a new product, like instead of always showing the highest rated products first, uh, Amazon will occasionally throw in new products on the front page to test them. And if they convert, on the recommended, and if they convert well, then that product will start ranking higher. So now they're just trying to give a more fair shot to people that come out with brand new products versus before is all about like how many reviews you have and how high rated you are, which eventually led to less competition or less people even trying because they're just so dominant, right? But if you buy an Amazon FBA business, you can skip all that, which the hardest part of an Amazon FBA business or any business is getting that initial traction during the product launch. And that's why I've chosen to buy an Amazon FBA business instead of trying to create my own from scratch, because I can avoid the hardest parts about an Amazon FBA business, which is the research, the product launch, and then trying to rank. All that I could skip. I could just buy it. It's making me cash flow, and I could focus on how I'm good at making money, which is through my YouTube channel.
Yeah, excellent. So we'll get to your YouTube channel shortly, but and that's so good for everybody listening. It's like really, it's hard to get ranked and get do the product listing, but it's also the same with any website that you build. Most people don't realize it can take like 6 months to a year or sometimes 18 months to actually get traffic to your site unless you're spending a lot of money to get paid traffic to your site. So it's the same with a lot of businesses. And I could believe it's very, very tough on Amazon because you do have people that have big businesses like your friend that does the listing and help people list and product photography and all that sort of stuff. They would have companies that actually do this when they find good products. So you're up against big competition. But if you buy one that has already proven that it's giving an income stream, like the proof is in the pudding, right? So talk to me about because you went and bought that. That's basically an investment for you where you're a money partner really, and you make a return and it gets ran by the VA, and your friend who owns it as well gets a bit of a return. So it's basically an automated business. However, is there cases where you do need to change your product listing and descriptions and photography and all that sort of stuff?
The product photography. Sorry. Did you want to reshoot that?
No, that's fine. And at what point does that need to be, done if you do need to redo those descriptions and images?
I think for those at home that are new to Amazon FBA, what I would do is I would compare the listing that you have to your competitors and see if your competitors have better pictures. I mean, when it comes to Amazon, the product listing, I think the pictures are the most important. Copy is likely secondary, right? So if you go to your competitors' pages and they have a much better product photography, and again, this is subjective, right? What's better, what's worse? But again, if it looks cleaner, it illustrates their competitive advantage of the unique selling proposition of the product better. Like if it just looks better, then consider paying a company such as Virtuous Graphics to make it as competitive. Right now, we're about to do a case study because this store that I bought, it didn't just have the carrying case for vapes, but we're also selling micro weight plates. So if someone wants to add, half a pound to their bench press, their bench press, then they could just put the half plates on. So we're having Virtuous Graphics to revamp our product listing for us. In exchange, we're going to be a case study for them. So they're doing it for free, but we're also going to expose all of our numbers and how much it's helped us grow. And so when it comes to the listing, I think just to sum it up is, to get new product photography, it's not very expensive. I think most packages are under $1,000. For most Amazon FBA business, that's less than a month of profit. Usually it's absolutely worth it to update your product pictures if you find them to be less appealing than your competitors. But also, even if you're already the top, it doesn't hurt to make it even better so you stay at the top.
Yeah, and that's called, for everybody listening, that's called CRO, which is conversion rate optimization, and it helps you get a higher converting product. And it can be the same with your copy as well. So we should always be testing, and I don't know how often you guys are doing this with the vape business and the weights and all that sort of stuff, but I dare say, every couple of months, or at least minimum every 3 to 6 months, have a look at, your competitors, see what's going on, and see if you can, learn from them and do what they're doing and add more value in your images and add more value in your product descriptions. So that's really cool. Was there something you wanted to add to that?
And then one thing I got to add, something I want to add to that was it could be overbearing with how many things you can split test. There's so many things that you can split test, right? But there's a software out there called Splitly that will help you A/B test your Amazon listing. And then when it comes to testing, you could test. I mean, you could test everything. You could test your fifth image. You could test your bullet points. You could test your I don't know, everything, right? But if you are gonna test, the two main things that I would optimize first, just the 80%, the 20% work that will get you 80% of the results is your main photo and your product title. And if you could just optimize those, everything else will be secondary.
Yeah, perfect. That's awesome. So congrats on that purchase. That's such a really good deal. And why I love this deal is because for people looking to buy businesses, and I've had clients that have done this as well, and more people are looking to do this, is to buy businesses and do a JV or a partnership with the previous owner, and where they can come in and maybe they run 50% of the business and the other person stays in as a money partner. But the person that wanted to sell it can also be a mentor or a coach and teach the person who has just bought into the business how to run it and grow it. And they can learn so much from it in intellectual property, as well as get an income stream as well. And then they can create a relationship and do bigger ventures in the future. But what I love is you've already got the knowledge on how this business works. But what I love what you did is you can just come in with some cash and get a return on your investment and not have to do too much work. And that's definitely a way that you can structure deals, guys. If there's something that's, been on Empire Flippers or other brokerage sites for a while, and there's, you can see there's not much traction happening with it, you can come in with an offer like this and see if that person is open to it. So that's a really cool, I'm really grateful for your share, because that really helps people see that there's different ways you can structure deals when you're buying either your first business or, building a portfolio. So let's talk about your YouTube channel, because you're killing it on YouTube. And I just want to congratulate you for that too. Tell me, when did you start your YouTube channel, and what are 2 or 3 of the biggest things that have helped you grow it?
Yeah, I started my YouTube channel August 1st, 2011. And if you're watching on video, I actually have a tattoo of the day I made my business. So I have a date, August 1st, 2011 tatted. Yeah, I got it last year. I figured if I've been doing a business for 7 years or 8 years now, I guess it is pretty meaningful. Because when it comes to owning a business, what we're talking about today, buying the vape case business, I don't give a crap about vapes. I don't vape. I don't even like the product very much. Yeah. But the numbers make sense. And so even though I don't care about vapes, I don't care about carrying cases for vapes, this business makes sense. So this Amazon FBA business that I just bought is purely for an ROI. That's completely different from a business that you're passionate about. That's a real brand that is something that you care about. And so with engineer truth is something that I really care about, because I help people with their careers. So essentially, especially 8 years ago, career information was garbage at the time. I think the knowledge was just go to college and get any degree and you'll be successful. That's how long ago it was. Now, through the last decade, with social media, people are much smarter now. They're more aware of how expensive college is. When I meet a lot of 20 or 18-year-olds, especially those who follow my channel, many of them want to drop out of college, and I say, congratulations, right? And so when I made Internet Truth 10 years ago, that's what I was trying to help. I was trying to make people more aware. Not saying college is always a bad option. I think there's a lot of benefits to college, but being aware of the choices that you're making, the degree that you're choosing, and the debt that you're taking, making sure it is going to be a good investment of time and money for you. And so I did that for 8 years. It's been a huge help. For those looking to start your first YouTube channel, in my space, I'm not an entertainer, so I'm in the education side, which is different. But if you are going to be in the education side, I'll say this. Number one, you should have something unique about your voice. For me, 10 years ago, it was very unique to go against college. Then about 5 years ago, I started being anti-engineering, especially the physical types of engineering, because mechanical, aerospace, chemical, civil, because there's way too many grads for the amount of jobs open. So I've actually did the research, but for every 10 engineering grads, about one job opens up every year.
Isn't that crazy that 9 people are going to spend that amount of money on that education and never be able to use it?
Yeah, it's absolutely scary. And I saw that definitely in my engineering program. There's just in my small school of Cal State Long Beach, I think there's like 300 mechanical engineering grads every semester. I mean, that's very fast. And that's just one school in the Southern California area where there's about like 10 schools in the whole area. Well, how many jobs are opening up in Southern California? Is it going to be able to handle the 30,000 people graduating from engineering, mechanical engineering every year, right?
Yeah.
No way. So that was a bad situation that I was in. So I tried several mechanical engineering jobs. I tried 3, and they all sucked. Not only did they not pay very much, because I think I was getting paid like $20 an hour. The lifestyle sucks because I have to go to work every single day, Monday through Friday. And then the culture sucks because nobody likes their job. They're all pissy. They just sit in CAT all day. And it's very, very conservative. Like you can't even cuss at work. You just got to be on time. You can't be 5 minutes late. I mean, it just sucked, right? And so about 5 years ago, I turned anti-engineering, and then a lot of my subscribers didn't like it. But then I gained a lot more because people who had tried engineering, who had the same situation where, they didn't pay, it doesn't pay good, the lifestyle sucks, and then they resonated with my channel a lot. So
because you had that unique voice, right?
Because I had a unique angle. Like how many people were anti-engineering? Almost nobody is anti-engineering except me. But I can say that because I study in engineering. So that unique voice, the unique angle of I would say you always got to go against the grain a little bit.
Yeah.
If I was with the grain, say if I was like pro engineering, I don't think my channel would be as unique.
No, because you would be in a market.
I think you got to be willing. You'd be in a market that's already saturated, right? Second thing with creating a channel is I would say you got to be a little bit controversial in the way you talk or in the way your messages. If you don't stir at least some controversy, you don't get people interested enough in what you have to say. So if my advice on my channel was, guys, you just gotta like work hard and choose something you're passionate about. I mean, it's not controversial enough. And so being a little bit controversial, going against the grain, but in a way that like is not too controversial because you don't want to make yourself look dumb, is really important too. And then the last thing is I do feel like you do have to actually, and this may be surprising, well, it comes to the educational space, you do actually have to know what you're talking about. Because if I came on here and I didn't know Jack, and you would be able to tell I don't know Jack, and then people are not going to watch. And so the common thing I see is people trying to be career business experts without having a career or business. And it just doesn't make sense. They're just not at a high enough level where they should be a leader of other people.
Yeah, it really comes down to the position. If you're going to teach is practice what you preach. You already have established and done it so often and learnt those lessons and failed at it, and just not just like what do they call it? They call it you're just teaching theory. You're not teaching experience. Yeah. And it's just ridiculous. So for everybody listening, YouTube, like the way I see businesses growing online massively is podcasting and YouTubing. And that's what I'm heavily getting pushed into at the moment. And I'm a beginner on the YouTube space. And that's like, I'm actually learning from you especially because I'm educational, but it's really important for everybody else listening because YouTube, like video and audio, is how people consume content. Right at these days is like we need to, like, even if it is a online business that's not in the educational space and you have products or services, talk about your products, review them, talk about your services, and have them on YouTube because it's going to help you get found on the biggest search engine in the world, right? Google. So what other, like, there's really good tips is be unique, be controversial, know your stuff. Now, surely there's some like micro sort of tweaks that you've done, like, ways that keywords or stuff like that has helped you get ranked or get more views to your videos and get more subscribers. Is there any sort of like tips and techniques that have really worked for you?
So before, YouTube was more of a search algorithm based. So you'd more rank on being searchable. But about 3 or 4 years ago, they changed the algorithm to be more recommended based. So really, you just have to have a high CTR, click-through rate on your videos, and then you will rank better. So the way I find a good way to get a better CTR, well, the best way is if people that are subscribed to you already click through your videos. If a good amount of your subscribers click through your videos, then you'll do better. Also, I'll find that titles that generate some sort of curiosity is the best thing. Trying to rank through SEO now doesn't really work. You just have to be ranked through the algorithm being recommended. You know, if you go on YouTube and you see recommended video, that's how most people just discover videos these days. It's not through the search anymore.
Yeah, awesome. So that's some huge tips because people could go down the rabbit hole with, you know, getting SEO when it's especially on YouTube in different ways. But that is there any other ways you can get that click-through rate up other than having people just from your channel watch your videos? Is there any, should you promote the hell out of them in the first couple of hours, or how would you get your click-through rate up otherwise?
Promoting it in the first couple of hours definitely does help, especially if it comes from external sources, right? So if your video goes viral on Reddit or something like that, yeah, it's going to help. But it's just tough to do that every single time you publish a video, to try to make it go viral by sending it to people and sharing it on Facebook and sharing on Reddit. I just find that if you want to be more efficient about it, is to make videos that your subscribers like and get a high click-through rate from people who are already subscribed to your content. And that's something I've been doing poorly at the last couple of years. But it's just the nature of YouTube. It's just that, oh yeah, something about this too is what I've noticed is called the channel, I don't know how to say it, channel degrading or something like that. Basically, I've been doing my channel for almost 10 years, right? So my popularity kind of declines because people kind of know my story and I haven't pivoted myself enough, kept myself interesting and relevant. And then someone new will come and they're coming out with a fresh personality, a fresh story. They might be a data scientist at Facebook or something, and then he'll blow up. And then it seems oh my God, you might think, oh, Matt, you suck because this guy, he just came on the scene. He's getting 50,000 views a video. But then what I noticed is his pattern will also go down. So he will have his first few videos will get 50,000. Then next year it will be 40,000. Then next year after that will be 30,000. And then he either has to reinvent himself again, try to reinvent himself again, or he'll just slowly decline to getting just a few thousand or 5,000 views a video. And I find that in the educational space, it's very, very common. And if you look at someone like Grant Cardone, right? Someone who has he's making a ton of money, has tons of subscribers. His videos will get less than 10,000 a video, right? Same thing with Gary Vee. If you look on Gary Vee, his videos get 10,000 views a video or something like that now too. So I find that, yeah, when you start off, don't get jealous of people. They just come on the scene and then the first or 2 years they're killing it, getting 100,000 views a video, because they're going to go through the same degrading. I don't know how to decline. No, this decline. There we go. Same decline eventually also as people get used to their story.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks so much for everybody listening. Definitely hone in on the YouTube tips, because YouTube is the way to go in growing your business for sure, especially 2019 into next year, 2020. So Matt, you've got your vape business and the weights and stuff like that. And then you've also got your Engineered Truth YouTube channel. Have you got any other businesses? Well, actually, let's talk about the two that failed last year, and why did they fail? Because that's a huge.
My channel is about career advice, and so I have a lot of people who are job seekers on my channel. So I thought a business that would make sense is a job board, because I have a lot of job seekers. So I made the job board, and it was actually doing pretty well. Right when I launched it, it was already getting around couple hundred views per day, page views per day, between 100 to 300, which is really good, which means I already have people looking for jobs and stuff. But the problem is I couldn't get any customers, which are the companies. The companies pay a couple $100s to post on the job board. And then we tried that idea out for 3 months, and I thought, wow, this is gonna be a ton of work to get companies to be on board with this idea. And it was already a saturated market because there's a lot of remote work job boards already.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so that one was tough because we tried to make a podcast out of it. We tried to get some blogs for SEO purposes. But then I figured, man, let's just cut our losses early, because I think I'm just going to have to spend $20,000 or $30,000 to get some traction with SEO,
Yeah.
or to get some traction with the podcast. And that's for maybe. For a maybe you'll make money back. Or I could just buy a $20,000 or $30,000 business, and for sure I'll make $1,000 a month. And so the second business was a vacation editing service. So here I live in the Philippines, and my friend lives in the Philippines. My whole circle here is obviously lives in the Philippines. And so all of us goes on trips and we record these videos, this footage. And we noticed that we never post it because it's just not edited. Like, who's gonna post like a 1 minute video of just them walking through a food park in the Philippines, right? It's just a boring clip to watch. So we figured we would make a video editing service that would take people's vacation footage and then turn it into 1 minute highlight video. Great idea. So I spent making an ad for it. I shot the ad myself, had my team edit it. We wrote the script. We did a lot of work. Put like a whole month into it, or maybe even 2 months. Launched it, ran the ad, and then we got 0 sales. It's pretty much none. And that was a waste of a lot of time, a lot of money. And so if I didn't have those 2 experiences, I would still be pushing people to create their own business. But after having those 2 experiences of failing, wasting a lot of not only time, but also money, now I'm all about buying businesses. And I'll still continue to engineer truth, which is the main way I make money. But I'm going to take the money from engineer truth and then put it into businesses. And so if you're a software engineer out there, or you have some sort of high income job, I highly recommend Jaryd's advice, which is don't try to start your own. Just take the money from your salary and buy one, and then pay an operator to manage it.
Yeah. And so guys, this is coming from, Matt, who has been in business for over 7 years now. He knows business really well. If he can go away and start a business with all the knowledge, the skills, I mean, he's got some mentors that are killing it, and he's learned so much here. And he can launch something and it doesn't work. It happens to people that are far more successful than me, Matt, and really successful people put together, and they still fail, right? So, and they still come up against that failure rate. Yes, your chances decrease when you know the field and you know so much, but it can happen. So, and I try not to be biased, Matt, although let's be honest, I am, because I really am an advocate for buying business because I don't want people to fail. But I don't recommend people start a business unless it's something they're so damn passionate about that's absolutely going to change the world, and they're going to put their whole life into it no matter what happens. That's the best case to start a website or start a business or anything like that. If not, and you just want to make money and want to do what Matt's done and replace your job's income, like what I've done as well and what all my clients do, then buying a business is a no-brainer. And I'm so glad that people are listening to this, because a lot of people that just jump on this podcast, Matt, they've never heard of this before. And they just go, this is the light bulb moment for them. So I'm so glad that everybody listening is here. And one last thing I want to finish on is having a team. You know, if you don't have a team, you don't have time, which is one of my mentors says. And I know that you got a team, Matt, and some people don't know, like if you go to a website business, they're going to buy a website business. What would the team do? How would they run the business? So I want to ask you, like, what are a couple of things that, you have your team do for your YouTube channel and your other sort of ventures?
Yeah, my team is everything. And I think for everybody, or for a lot of people, it starts off when they read the 4-Hour Workweek and they're introduced to the idea of VAs and hiring in the Philippines. I'm going to take my brain back like 5 years ago, before I've ever hired anybody. And I used to think when I first made my channel, I can't let go of the video editing process, because that's so important. That's such an important part of the video, is the editing. The editing is the most important part. And I thought, man, I cannot let go of the editing. But I found myself spending about 50% of the time writing the content and then filming it, and then about 50% of the time editing it. And so I thought, okay, out of all things I could remove, obviously I cannot remove the writing and I can't remove filming because I got to film myself, but I can remove the editing. So in the beginning, after I read the 4-Hour Workweek, I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit most of it. I'm going to get an editor just to add text on the screen to highlight. So if I make a big point, some text on the screen will say, oh, point number 1, do your homework or something like that, right? And so the editor would just do that. Then I'm like, okay, he did a pretty good job. Some couple of revisions, use this font, put these colors, and do this, right? And I was like, okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Then I would add difficulty. I was like, okay, here's the clip of me talking. I want you to remove all my ums, all my sentence restarts, and all my speech mistakes. Do that. Does that? Okay, blah, blah, blah. And we kind of just build from there piece by piece. And then now with my current editor, I just send them files. I send them a couple paragraphs of what I need, maybe usually even one paragraph of what I need, and then it's done. It's pretty much done. And there's always revisions. But now that reduced the time I take on my channel by 50%. That's a lot. It's a lot of time. Then I hired a graphic designer to do the thumbnails from my YouTube channel and also to add graphics to my videos. That I don't even know how to do, but she makes really good graphics. So these people, they allow me to live a 4-hour work week life. And it's really important because they actually work harder than I do. And because they're the ones really grinding and really working every day. Whereas for me, like for example, yesterday I went to do a little staycation at Manila Bay. I stayed at a hotel, Citadines, and just took the day off because I felt like it. But if I didn't have him behind me, I couldn't do things like that because there's no work being produced unless I'm working. And then the second thing about hiring is that I really think hiring people in the Philippines is a great first step. It's really rare, especially in our online business space, to hire a Westerner first. Most of the time, you're going to be hiring in the Philippines first, a VA. My recommended website is onlinejobs.ph. And for
that's what I use.
$300 a month, you can get. It's fantastic, right? And I still use it.
Yeah.
I found everyone that works for me on there.
Yeah,
and so for $300 a month, you can get a full-time VA to do any task you want. Whether that's writing. I've actually found good writers, but good writers are actually kind of expensive. But you can do like web design, graphic design, video editing is very easy to find. And any kind of like admin or customer support, all of it can be hired through onlinejobs.ph. And something that really changed my opinion about hiring Filipinos is actually going to the Philippines. Because I think if you come from Western world, you've never been to a developing country, you may have the idea in your head that you're somehow like much superior, like so much smarter than people from developing countries. And then you go to developing countries and you're like, holy crap, we're all humans. Like these guys are just as smart as us. Maybe their English isn't as good because they know like 2 or 3 languages, but like in terms of like IQ and intelligence, they're just the same as us. Yet to hire a VA or an assistant in America, that's going to cost you a few $1,000s versus just hiring a VA in the Philippines. It costs $300 a month. And then I want to add the last point is that is good money for them. Like the reason they're taking that job is because it's paying them better than a job that they would have got here, and they don't have to deal with commuting to work, which could take 1 or 2 hours. Actually, it's very common for Filipinos to commute 3 hours each way. They have to ride this jeepney, which is like done a ton of bad air, a ton of pollution out of it, and it's hot. Or they can sit at home, make even more money than they would make than the companies here. And usually, remote jobs are more relaxed about the hours and about the stress. So don't feel like you're ripping for whatever reason. Some people think that we're like scamming these people into taking our jobs. If someone has accepted a job, you're never scamming them. They applied to work for you. Like they want the job. So you're really actually helping them more than you're helping them a lot by giving these remote jobs where they can sit at home, take care of their families, and not have to deal with toxic coworkers and also a lot of toxic air when they go outside.
I'm so grateful that you have so much positive energy behind that, because I am all aboard of what you just said. And you actually beat me to it in saying, like, by you paying somebody in a developing country, like you're changing their life. Like it's like me getting out of plumbing and being able to work from home that's equal to somebody not needing to go to work and can work from home and spend time with their friends and their family. And like, it's so valuable. And the level of intelligence around the world is like, I have my VAs come to me sometimes and they go, oh, a lot of the times it's like, Jaryd, here, what should I do here? What should I do there? How should I do this? And what I've started doing for people listening is I ask them, like, what would you do? And it puts it back on them to allow themselves to give them a little bit of responsibility, but under my care and my caress, and it allows them to be inspired enough to go, oh, hey, I'd probably do this. And when they do that, then, they have to stop asking you as many questions, and they take it on themselves to go away and get the work done, be more effective, be more efficient, and become better at the job. And it makes your job so much easier because they do the work for you, and they start asking those questions themselves of, instead of having to go to Jaryd, how can I do this myself? So that's a really good question for people out there with VAs, is empowering them to get better. And it just makes your life so much easier.
Yeah, the one thing to keep in mind is exactly what Jaryd said, is that a lot of Filipino companies, they micromanage their people. They're a strong believer in micromanaging and having standard operating procedures. So they're not used to being able to think on their own. They're just used to receiving instructions 1 through 20, following them exactly, and then doing that. So that's why when you first start hiring people from the Philippines or any developing country, you might think, man, these people don't have a brain of their own. But you just got to keep in mind, in their culture, they never question the instructions given to them. They're just given a certain set of instructions and they follow it. They're not really used to our Western style of management, where we say, hey, I want you to figure this out on your own, and then return the work, and then I'll revise it, and then you're going to learn from there. When you give them the ability to think on their own, and you become a good boss and a nice boss, they're just never going to leave. My video editor, he's been with me for 3 years. My graphic designer, she's been with me for 2.5 years. And I pay them, well, for my video editor, at his full-time in-person job, editing real estate videos for an Australian company, where he had to show up to work 8 hours a day, or 9 hours a day. He was getting paid $325 a month as a senior video editor. And so now I pay him a little bit more than 3 times that amount. So I pay him 3 times the amount. He gets to live from home, work from home. He has to go on trips with his girlfriend. They just went to Bangkok. They're going to go to Bangkok in a couple of weeks, and then they just went to Taiwan earlier this year. So when the lifestyle you're giving them is like, it's not just a little bit better, it's a lot better.
Yeah, you're changing somebody's life completely. So Matt, I just want to thank you so much for coming on. I greatly appreciate all the shares in difference between, starting a website business and buying, and then also how to grow your business with good VAs and through YouTube. Where can people go and find more about you?
Yeah, they could go to my YouTube channel, Engineer Truth on YouTube. That'd be the best place to go. I'm also coming out with a premium website. It's premium.engineertruth.com, or you can just go to engineertruth.com and you can find more information about me there.
Awesome. And those links will be in the show notes, guys. For everybody listening and wanting to buy business, not have to go down the same route that Matt went down and the same route that I went down in trying to start a website, and you want to buy one instead, go to my website and get some free resources. I'm telling you, these are really important resources that are going to help you on your journey to buying businesses. The first one you can get is a website evaluator tool. Helps you value whether the website's good or not. And then my due diligence framework, which helps you know what parts of due diligence you need to do throughout the due diligence phase of buying a website business. And that's super important. Would you agree, Matt?
That's the most important part. Out of everything that you'll ever do when it comes to investing and buying online businesses, is choosing the right one. If you choose the right one, everything's easy. If you choose the wrong one, everything's going to be hard, no matter how much of an expert.
Yeah. So that's why those tools are so valuable. They're going like hotcakes. Jump on buyingonlinebusiness.com/free resources. Grab those tools while they're still up there. And for everybody that is listening, thank you. Thanks for listening. If you did like what you heard in this show, go away, please leave a review and let me know what you liked about it so I can bring more of that to the podcast for you. Thanks again, Matt, and I'll speak to everybody next time.